Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C. We talk real sports every Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're doing it Latin style today, Big C, because I really want to say thank you to all of our Latin American audience. Today is May 31st, 2016. And I feel like partying because the Golden State Warriors, they had a big party at the Oracle Arena last night. Big C, your thoughts on that game?
Hola, Charlton. How you doing? It was an amazing thing, and you called it on point last night, Charlton, when you said that it would go 7 games and Golden State would prevail.
Yeah.
But when you think about the perseverance, being down 3-1, we had also talked about Steph Curry really hadn't been seen in the playoffs. He's been a pedestrian player.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson, though, has set the world on fire. The biggest difference, though, Charlton, in that game last night was the role players for Golden State, and you had spoke about that a couple of days ago, is that they had people that they had better matchups with.
Yeah.
And it was on full display last night. Steve Kerr did a masterful job in coaching. And everybody's going to put all the pressure and all the undoing on Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
And that was not fair.
But the difference last night, Charlton, and in the past 3 games, has been the role players, the guys in their lineup that have not produced points. You can only get so many points from your superstars, but you're going to have to find a way to get 40, 45 points from your role and bench players, and when you're not doing that, you can't expect to win in the NBA, Charlton.
Yeah, in fact, you know how you like to do a lot of the blending of Hollywood and the entertainment industry, and my goodness, I've seen so much more on ESPN, even Fox Sports 1. They're bringing on the entertainers to talk about sports. But last night at the game, Oakland has so much talent. They had E40, who I believe is from the Bay Area, from Vallejo. And, of course, E40 has a lot of good music. He was courtside. They actually interviewed E40, asking him his thoughts on what was going to happen in the game, Big C. I said, Big C's been doing that for about a year now. But just
Charlton, there's a lot of plagiarism, and everybody's listening to everybody in the world of sports because you're trying to find an edge and get to the next level.
Yeah.
Whether you're on television, whether you're on radio, people are doing that. They've always done that. If you look at ESPN in the morning, they're reading USA Today.
Oh, yeah.
Which is yesterday's news.
Yeah.
So they're catching up with yesterday's news, trying to explain to the person sitting at home listening to them, you didn't know anything about what I'm talking about. We're a little different as far as what we do sports-wise, Charlton. We bring a little history in.
Yeah.
We bring a little cynicism in. But, we want the audience to understand what we're talking about. We want them to know that they're the most intelligent people participating in our program, Charlton.
Yeah, and that's true, too.
Facilitators for them.
Yeah.
And our audience is very astute.
Yeah. And I agree with that very much, Big C. And I also want to say this segment is sponsored by Bud Light because we know it tastes good. It's about 105 degrees out here in California. Now, I know you good old boys, you wake up like that in the morning, but it takes that about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It hits about 105 out here. So everybody's short-tempered here in California except for all the Golden State fans. So I thought I'd put on some Latin jazz so we could sit back and relax a little bit, Big C. But I want to ask you your thoughts on this because you brought it up. And, we've been talking about this since we were at Salem Media back in September. When you look at Durant and you look at Westbrook, they're both dominant players. I think Durant's taken too much criticism for the loss because last I heard, outside of Kobe Bryant in the Lakers, most teams put 5 guys on the court at the same time. Is that true, Big C?
I kind of think, my math is not always as good, so I can go back and look at that.
Well,
but, when you look at Durant's numbers statistically, Charlton, and you look at LeBron James,
yeah,
there's not a big variance in the numbers between the two. The difference has been, Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook offset each other.
Yeah.
But when you look at Cleveland, you got a Kevin Love that's a consistent outside scorer. You got a J.R. Smith that can come in and knock you down anywhere between 5 and 8 3-pointers in a game, Charlton. You have a plethora of players in Cleveland that has played their roles. And when you look at James' scoring, he's only averaging about 24 points a game.
Yeah, a little bit low this year.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
That's not a lot. So there's a lot of balance going on in Cleveland. And people say that the Eastern Conference is a lot weaker than the Western Conference. By record, it is. but everybody's an NBA player, Charlton. Everybody may not be that quote-unquote superstar, but everybody's wearing the NBA logo and earning an NBA salary and should have that thought and that mindset of a champion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But only two teams going to make it to the championship series every year. When you look at the 30, 31 teams in the NBA, only two are going to make it to the championship series, and only one's going to be crowned the champion.
And that's so true, because no matter how many teams have great players, no matter how many teams have a great run, Golden State hit 73 wins this year, but they were down 3-1, and even some of the Golden State faithful, they went to the games, but they really had a lot of doubt, especially the Bay Area media. They were thinking, well, this is over and done. No way they can match what the Bulls did. And I always believe that officiating has a lot to do with everything, even though I'm glad Golden State won because I'm a California boy. But I'm not really partial to any particular team, except for the ones I've watched since I was a little boy. But I will tell you this, Big C. When I look at what happened free throw-wise, Golden State did not go to the line. Curry did not go to the line until the fourth quarter. No free throws for Curry to the fourth quarter. He was driving the basket all the time. He was not getting the calls, but you would expect, if you're LeBron James or Michael Jordan or someone like a Magic Johnson, even Larry Bird, you expect the star players to get calls. But for your star player to drive the hole consistently and not go to the line until the fourth quarter, I think they were trying to keep this game close. But I also think, this is my cynical side, Big C, I know you might disagree, but I think with Adam Silver and all sports in general, they want to see LeBron James in Golden State. They don't want to see OKC and Cleveland, because which one is more sexy, Big C? Your thoughts on that?
Well, you're looking at a West Coast media market, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's number 2 in the United States. You know, when you look at the California media.
Yeah.
Versus, only New York is larger as a state.
Yeah.
So, that weighs a lot as far as television, revenue, marketing, cost of a commercial advertisement during the finals, Charlton, and you're going to see a lot of those come along. But, when you look at the two teams, and we had said it was a foregone conclusion a long time ago that Cleveland was going to be in the championship.
Yeah.
And I look at the foul situation that you talk, or the lack of foul.
The lack of fouls.
If you think of that shot that Curry took at the end of the first half.
Amazing.
Driving to the basket.
Yeah.
He was knocked about 3 rows up into the fan, Charlton. I mean, but there was no contact.
No contact.
There was no contact. Now, we see all the time in NBA games where these mystery fouls, the call is like, okay, if you're in the vicinity, it's a foul.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you make brazen body contact, you don't get the call. Well. And so when you look at officiating, and that was at one point when Adams and Draymond Green got tangled up and went to the floor.
Yeah.
Where the officials spent 3 minutes reviewing the play.
Yeah.
Okay, the play took about 2 seconds, and this is what I talked about the other day when we talk about analytics.
Yeah.
It didn't take any analytics to analyze that. There was a foul. You didn't need 3 minutes to figure out something that happened when you got 2 big bodies on the floor.
Right.
But the dramatization of the officials that want to get their television time also, Charlton, it wasn't about getting it right. It was a double foul, call it, walk away.
Yeah.
You didn't need 3 minutes on a replay explaining to everybody, sitting there watching a monitor. It's play the game, and this is what I talk about. Everybody now in television is wanting to be seen.
Yeah.
Instead of letting the players be the show.
I agree, Big C. When I look at that too, and I listen to some of the commentators, and I know Chris Webber used to play for the Sacramento Kings. He also at a time played for the Golden State Warriors, and I take it he didn't like playing there because he said there was too much water in the Bay Area. I thought that's odd. I think he went to the University of Michigan. I think it's on Lake Michigan in Ann Arbor.
He was out of Detroit.
Yeah.
That's where he grew up.
But now, see, I'm a little bit biased because I know when I'm being biased, but I also know when I'm being non-partial. But there were so many times that I thought Chris Webber was auditioning for a job with Oklahoma City because he kept saying what they need to do to win. He wasn't saying what the defending champion needs to do to win. But that's just my opinion. But I know Charles Barkley, he still thinks that OKC has the better team because stats don't matter. See, I think some people, they have their own bets. They have their own bets going on somewhere.
Envy an old retired player, because when they sit around and they look at what Steph Curry has accomplished in the last 2 years in the NBA, it's unparalleled.
Right.
And, instead of getting the respect that he should, he's gotten the respect from the writers, okay? They understand the greatness that he's exuded. over the past 2 seasons, Charlton, leading his team to a championship and a record-winning season. But you have these old-time guys that are still a little bit grisly. They don't make the money that the young players make today, Charlton.
Yeah.
They don't. Only Kenny Smith on that show. Well, Shaq has won championship, but Charles Barkley is still a little genius.
Yeah.
You know,
and I like Charles, but he always tries to act like he knows more than Shaq, who I think has 5 rings, and he acts like he knows more than Kenny the Jet Smith, who has a couple of rings. But I like Charles' personality, but for him to put so much energy and that saying OKC is a better team and they should have won, that they choked as opposed to the defending champion with the best record ever.
As we say down here in the South, shoulda, coulda, woulda. If the dog had to stop to take a sniff, he'd have caught the rabbit, okay?
Well, you know how you talk about the $1 million show. I think the Mega Million in California is $235 million tonight, right? Now, I know we talk about money all the time and things tend to show up, but Kevin Durant, when we talk about him being a choker, here's a guy that he's going to opt. Well, he's not going to opt out. He's going to take 1 more year contract, I think, in OKC, because after he gets a bigger contract, he can opt out next year. And I think because the league's going to go up in salary cap, he's looking at $235 million. Okay, that's not including his endorsements, which also is about a quarter of a. It's also about another $250 million. So he's talking a half $500 million, Big C. No championships. But it's not his fault. But I will say something that you brought to my attention, and I didn't really agree with you when you first brought it up. You talked about James Harden with the Matador defense, Big C. Well, there were a couple times that I saw, and it was pointed out several times, that after a turnover or after a missed shot, Durant would not hustle to guard the Golden State Warriors players. The mistake is they put him on Curry at times, and you can't keep up with the guy who has like a Curly Neal crossover. He's going to
wear you down.
He wore him down.
And you're forward. You're not going to make it through the game.
Yeah, so it's not like he wasn't trying, but anyone who's played sports, if you run the 100-meter dash, you're going to give it all you get. But by the time you hit the 400 meters, you can't run as fast. And you have this guy's about 6'11" to 7 feet tall. And when you're trying to cover a guy 6'3" that can cross you up, you're going to get worn down. You're going to have what's called your stiffness in your back, stiffness in your legs, and that's when they call a timeout. So to have him expend so much energy and put him on the best player in the game and say he's not hustling, I think that's unfair. It is an unfair dig at Kevin Durant, and I know that Stephen A. Smith was saying the same thing, that they're thinking Durant choked. I don't think he choked at all. I think they got beat by a better team, Big C. You think that's fair, the criticism that he's getting?
The air of the criticism that he's getting from the people who don't wear jockstrap, Charlton, will always be abound, okay?
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants to be the guy with the greatest story. No one knows what's in Kevin Durant's heart. Kevin Durant is a warrior. He's an athlete. He plays the game all out every night. Now, you go out and drag up and down an NBA court, and you got, 82 regular season games?
Yeah.
And you probably played 14 preseason games, Charlton?
Yep.
And you've been in a couple long playoff series, so you're in excess of 100 games that you've played in the last 5 months. Okay? This is a big man, almost 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And you're asking him to guard someone who is cat quick. Now, we heard Adams make the derogatory statement. I don't think he meant anything negative about it in the first game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
he called them monkeys.
Yeah. So this is what he was facing, and Kevin Durant was saying. Adams already spoke about it in the first game. You can't keep up with these cat quick players, okay?
Yeah.
And now you're asking Durant to guard a backcourt player.
Yeah.
That's like asking any forward in NBA history to go out there and guard the point.
Yeah, I think you're right. He reminds me of Big C when we look at a basketball player and a football player. With the basketball, Steph Curry is like Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders could make a guy fall down just by giving him the hip and taking it away. Well, Steph Curry is ridiculous because, and some people say, well, he kind of showboats a little bit because too much success makes people not like you at times. But this guy, he's so accurate shooting the three. There are times he'll shoot a three and turn around and go the other way.
How can you be showboating? How can you be showboating when you know you're knocking down shots?
Yeah.
I mean, no one talks about how Jordan showboated after making shots. I remember in a championship series against the Portland Trailblazers when he knocked down his 4th or 5th three-point shot. All he did was turn to the broadcast bench and just throw up his palms and they're going down tonight. So was that showboating or was that being cocky?
Yeah.
You know, when you look at these things, even when he hit the shot against Greg Elo against the Cleveland Cavaliers when Cleveland was down, and he jumped up in the air pumping his fist, was that being cocky? But let's go back against Byron Russell against the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
When he pushed Byron Russell, raised up and hit the game-winning shot, and turned around to everybody, and raised his arms up in the air. Was that being cocky? What we have right now, Charlton, is a bunch of jealous ex-people.
Yeah.
Steph Curry doesn't give them the cheap media right that they want.
Right.
Okay? There's nothing negative about him that they can say. He comes on, he does his press conference, he has his beautiful little daughter with him, Charlton, who is very articulate, and she has that showmanship already that she's gotten from her dad. And so when you're sitting around trying to find something negative, Steph goes out and plays a game.
Yeah.
He's not up in anybody's face. Now, we've seen players over the years get in people's face, yelling, screaming. They make the dunk, they turn around and like, why? You're paid to dunk. You're 6'9". You should be able to throw it down with you.
That's true, Big C.
So why should you have to sit there and yell in somebody's face? But that's not showboating, Charlton. Steph Curry knocks down a 3-night. You find anybody in the history of this game that has been as proficient as he is.
Yeah.
Larry Bird. Larry would knock down a 3 and resonate what he wanted to say to another player.
Yeah.
Heartbeat.
He was a trash talker. Yep.
But that wasn't being cocky. So when you look at it over the years of players, and Charles Barkley talked much trash just like anybody else.
Oh, he still does. He still does with his Shaq all the time. All Shaq has to do is say, look at the hand, though. You know how kids say it? Look at the hand?
Like you say, Shaq, so look at the hand. There's 5 of them on there. Look at the hand, my man. You made money. You made All-Stars. You're one of the 50 greatest. So am I. But look at the hand.
Well,
and that's the difference. There's a lot of great players such as Charles Barkley who do not have championship rings.
Yeah.
But don't lose against those who are presenting greatness now in the game.
No, I agree with you very much.
The hypeness of the Golden State Warriors TV following in Game 7 last night.
Yeah.
That was probably a record that was set last night. People wanting to see them fail, as well as people wanting to see them succeed, Charles.
Well, Big C, they were saying that's the biggest cable audience they've had, I think, on TNT, at least for this season for sure, the biggest one. And if watching that series doesn't make you like basketball, then I don't know what it takes to get anyone excited. And speaking of getting excited, this segment is also sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Escalade, the standard of the world. And you can only get the Escalade new there and go by and test drive it. And when you do, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. So, Big C, when I look at some of the things that you talk about, too, and I realize that there's always some envy going on. But I know as far as the next series coming up, I don't want to get away from this one too much before we go into the next series. But what I was more impressed with was the fact that Draymond Green, who I think is the motivational leader of that team, that he did not pick up another technical because he knows he can only get one more. If he gets the second one, he's going to have to miss a game. But he still played with a lot of ferocity, and he's a tough guy. I still would say don't shoot so many threes, Draymond. Go to the paint, get your threes that way. Leave your three-point shooting to the Splash Brothers. Curry had 36 points last night. When you look at him and Thompson, I know players are saying they're the best at three-point shooting that the league has ever seen. And you talked about last time about Ray Allen, how great he was. And even Larry Bird and so many other great players over the years shooting threes. But I think when you look at the key to that team, Big C, Draymond Green is just as important as Curry and Thompson just because he gives you a physical presence. And they're a smaller team, Big C, but he mans up. He may kick you sometime where it hurts. But you can't say, like you always say in the Southeastern Conference, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Is that what you say, Big C?
But no, we learned that from the West Coast. Players get houses.
Yeah.
We've tried to emulate that a little bit.
Well, didn't you say Nick Saban's the one with the airplane who coaches Alabama football? The Crimson Tide? He has his own jet?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, right now we got to worry about Hugh Freeze out at the University of Mississippi, with all the allegations of, misconduct down there. But, all these things we've learned from watching West Coast college football. Talk.
Yeah. Wait a minute, Big C. That's a low blow right there. I just about to agree with you. Hey, let's leave. The only people in the West Coast that have been on probation is USC, Washington, I think. Nobody else. And they didn't know where all that money came from. They just thought people were leaving money up. They left their wallets in the seat, and sometime an athlete finds that wallet. But when you...
We've had several schools out there.
Well, were they on probation in the Pac-8, though?
You guys call it now.
I think they were in the Pac-8 that time when they were on probation.
It's still part of the conference show.
Okay.
You know, don't try to kick them out right now. You know, you guys have a bit of pride.
Hey,
you know, no one's going to figure out. You don't worry about it.
You can't blame your wife for what she did with her ex-husband. You got to look at her for what she does with you. That's also a part of California, the alimony state. But I think there are times when, and this might be funny, but it might not be funny because you talked about it before. And so many things you talk about they've come true, Big C. You talked about the fact that the college sports is such a big-time moneymaker, and you have schools making tens of millions of dollars. Ohio State sold out their spring football game. I think some of the schools in the SEC, they had over 80,000 for their spring football games, and players can't get paid. We talked about players bringing lawsuits and how they're going to go after these schools, and because the attorneys are involved in it, if they can't get compensation, they'll sue you for CTE or some other type of issue. And because not paying players is an antitrust violation, and Jay Billis, the attorney, I think he played at Duke, he brought that up too, Big C. A lot more people are smart enough to realize if you're going to make tens of millions of dollars, and I think Art Riles was just fired at Baylor, he was making $6 million a year, and he was not being straight from what a lot of people accused him of. But when the players are understanding, here's a coach that's doing wrong, or at least accused of doing something wrong, but they were still giving them $6 million. They can't even get minimum wage for playing football when they're bringing in tens of millions of dollars.
Stadium down in Baylor, you know.
Yeah.
When you think about the last 5 years of Baylor University, when this program has averaged over 10 wins a year, where they were a doormat a decade ago in the Big 12. Now, you know, they've turned it around. They built a new stadium. You get all these great players all of a sudden, Charlton, to start coming to your university, and you have to wonder, how do you attract these players, Charlton? There have been universities around forever with winning traditions, but then all of a sudden, some schools just jumped up out of nowhere, a la Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Hugh Freeze won in a hurry in Mississippi, and we also saw the allegations of a player tweeting to the assistant athletic director that his mother needed some bills paid, such as they had out there at USC with
Wait, leave Pete Carroll alone. Pete Carroll at least has a class. He had the class to leave before he got in trouble, Big C. You can't say he's not smart.
So, you know, and with this social media going on now, Charlton, you're going to hear a lot more in coming years.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen it in basketball. You look at the Fab Five. You talked about Chris Webber earlier. You know, the University of Michigan went on probation after the Fab Five was there. They were sent to scholarships.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not just in football, Charlton, it's in basketball. And so the improprieties, and you have to wonder how does the university consistently pull in a top recruiting class?
Yeah.
I understand people want to be where it's winning.
Yeah.
And you're on television, but who's not on TV now? You got Division III and high school games on TV.
High school games are on TV. You're right, Big C.
Since they were in high school, so television can't be the major draw anymore. As far as come here and you're going to be on television.
Yeah.
Come here and we can provide you with a little more. We can't tell you out front, or we can't sign a contract to it, but we will provide you a little more. I go back to Jim Fussell days at Ohio State.
Yeah.
When he had this Nissan deal, and you had some 30 players riding around in late model Nissan cars. And then Eric Flyers had a brand new 350 VX. And, you know, he's a college student. Plus, they had all these tattoos that they were able to afford. And, you know, this was long after SMU got the death penalty, when all the players out there were driving Nissan 300s, you know, back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
But, you know, since SMU, none of the programs have gotten the sanction that they received, Charlton. So I think there's a lot of improprieties going on with the NCAA, the unfairness that, you know, they're doling out to certain heritage universities because of your history. We're not going to give you anything more than a slap on the wrist and tell you, hey, be a little more careful next time.
Well, that's That's a good point, and I want to bring this up, Big C. And this segment is also sponsored by your Northern California BMW dealer, home of the ultimate driving machine. Go down and test drive from the 1 Series all the way up to the 600 horsepower M7, also known as the 760 Li. And your Northern California Ford dealer, they build them Ford tough. Go down and test drive the all-new F-150. And when you test driving it, let them know that Charlton and Big C sent you. Now, I want to bring up something that's a little bit egregious, Big C, because we talk about schools, and we talk about colleges, and we talk about some of the young athletes and what just happened down at Baylor. Now, this might be a controversial subject, but I heard it this morning on the news, and I thought, well, maybe I'm living in naivety. But there's a program called Seeking Arrangements, where they're saying that college girls are using this to pay for college as opposed to getting student loans. Now, I know that people say that college loans take a long time to pay back, but you have major universities, there's some here in California and all over the country, I think they have over 1 million members, where college girls are supplying themselves for a date, supposedly just a date, and there are men paying up to $1,000 for the company of these women who are going to college. Now, why do I think that's egregious? Of course, there's also the image of doing something illegal. But I think these colleges, when they supply this type of behavior to their athletes to entice them to come to the school, it's kind of like giving a pat on the back because it's going on for so long unless you get caught, right?
Well, Charles, we had a situation with the University of Louisville back last year.
Same thing.
The basketball program where on ESPN Outside the Lines, where they had done this story on this lady who was a paid escort. And not only that, she had her daughter involved in this scenario to help persuade players, allegedly, to come to the University of Louisville. Now, these are all type of egregious acts that go on. And, you know, is it egregious or is what society...
I think it's just society.
Everybody has their own cup of coffee and they drink it however they want. They want it straight, they want it sugar, they want cream and sugar. Okay?
Yeah, I like cream and sugar in mine out here, Big C. No moonshine. Light on the moonshine, heavy on the cream and sugar, Big C.
but you know, it's about individual judgment, Charlton. Who are we to judge what other societal whims are, Charlton? Everybody, you live your life according to how you live your life.
Yeah.
I don't have the keys to somebody else's house to walk in and say that you're doing right or wrong, okay?
Yeah.
That's not my office. And I don't think society should do that, Charlton. Society spends too much time worrying about what others are doing instead of worrying about their own.
And see, that's the thing.
And that's what's wrong with society, Charlton. We get it in sporting events.
Yeah.
We got old-time players that are analysts sitting there ragging on some hot superstar nowadays.
Yeah.
Why? You know, take care of your own. You know, pull out your hand. Show me your championship rings, okay? Show me your scoring average per game.
Leave Charles Barkley alone, Big C.
Have what he has, or more than what he has. Well, I understand you're a great player,
right?
But don't knock the great players of the day.
Well, keep this in mind because when this story was brought up, it just was a week after Riles got fired down at Baylor. And we know what happened at Penn State that was so egregious. And we know what players are accused of. You know, Seamus Winston's down at Florida State. A lot of athletes are accused of something. But this report this morning, it was out of this Northern California news station, NBC, and they were saying that the schools, because the profiles say that these are students, and they know how to do a cross-check on someone and see what university they go to. So the point is, if an athlete is accused of doing something impropriety, they will kick that person out of school. But they have some of these students who are doing the same thing. They just happen to be female, and they're not trying to prosecute them. And I'm not saying they should or should not. I'm just saying the athletes are held to a higher standard. And as we leave this question to just ponder, Big C, in the last few minutes of the program, I just want to say that this segment is also sponsored by United Labor Life Insurance, guaranteed $100,000 life insurance policy, no medical checkups. Also by Goosehead Insurance, guaranteed to beat about 99% of the competition in quotes, and also One Life Insurance. And if you're looking for life insurance, contact Charlton and Big C Sports. Big C, in the final segment of the program, I know we talked about a few issues, but I still want to get your thoughts on the upcoming series that starts Thursday night with Cleveland and Golden State. But I do want to make sure that throughout the week we touch on some of the other issues that's plaguing college sports, because I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that once college players get smart enough to start going after colleges for some of their injuries the way the NFL does, then it's going to open up Pandora's box. And you're right, because more and more schools are starting to get hit with lawsuits when they realize that they do have a right to take someone to court, Big C. So I appreciate you on that. But speaking of the court, just your thoughts on the previewing Cleveland and Golden State coming up and the rematch for their championship, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, this is realistically a series that you can't wait to get started.
Yeah.
With what Golden State has done the past couple of nights, Charlton playing, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about that. But you also look at Cleveland. The NBA is hungry. The world is hungry for Cleveland to win a championship.
Yeah.
LeBron James making his 6th straight appearance in the NBA Finals. Only have won 2, though.
Yeah.
They feel that this is his time. That this is his year to win that championship in Cleveland.
Could you?
I expect to see close games, Charlton.
Yeah.
I honestly do. I expect to see the whistle blowing at a fever
Yeah.
to keep Cleveland in this series.
Yeah.
And I think Cleveland may fall into the trap of wanting to outshoot Golden State on threes.
Yeah.
But, you got Draymond Green, which I feel that he can offset LeBron James.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving. Klay Thompson, I think, will play on him. And this is a game that I look at Golden State's athleticism all over in this game. That's what Cleveland is going to have the mismatch with.
Yeah, I agree.
LeBron James can be neutralized. The rest of the team has to keep with Thompson and Curry.
Well, I think you're right. Whenever you could trade 3s for 2s, it's going to give you the benefit of the doubt, give you the benefit. And I think this series will probably go 6 games. I don't see a 7-game series. I think OKC posed more of a problem for Golden State than Cleveland does.
They're more athletic, I think, with Durant and Westbrook.
Yeah.
You're not going to find a more athletic guard in the NBA than Michael Westbrook.
Yeah.
He's just,
well, Russell's amazing.
Look around, and Steph is a basket, is one short of a triple-double.
Yeah.
He's just a superstar.
Yeah, well, also, Golden State beat Cleveland by, I think they beat them by over 30 points in Cleveland in the regular season. They had a 6-point win out in Oakland. And also, we just finished Memorial Day weekend, so thank you, everybody, for paying honor to the country and the veterans. And speaking of paying honor, you can make a donation at BeneathHisWingsFoundation.org. Make a donation today. It's easy, it's fast, and it's secure. Also, contact Cynthia Evans at CYNN Entertainment when it comes to promotions. She's the best in Northern California. Let her know that Charlton and Big C sent you. So, Big C, as you know, there's so much going on. We have the NHL. We have San Jose's down 1-0 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Baseball's happening all the time. But I'm really looking forward to the football season coming up. I know the NBA is going to be over and done in about the next 30 days. But just get your final thoughts on what you're looking forward to in the week coming up in the world of sports, Big C.
Well, as you said, the Penguins last night took care of the Sharks. They weren't that close to water. They scored the winning goal in a 3-2 game with about 2:35 left to go in the game, Charlton.
Yeah.
I think the Penguins will handle this series in 5 to 6 games, Charlton. They're a great organization. They got a lot of experience in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
So, look at the Sharks. I mean, they've had a great run with the Penguins. I think this is a series to be had.
Yeah.
You're talking about baseball getting into its swing now, but, football is right around the corner. They still got the OTAs going on. But we got the NBA Finals. We got a rematch of last year's championship, Charlton. We have the unproclaimed 2 greatest players on the planet playing in this series.
Yeah.
We got the MVP and the self-proclaimed greatest player in the world.
LeBron, yeah.
I kind of like what the MVP can do night in, night out. Because he can get it done by itself. But he's got a counterpart on the other side of the court with him.
Yeah, Thompson,
That at times can shoot the lights out better than the MVP.
I understand.
You got to sit there and say, dang, I got the MVP who's got 30, but his buddy got 38.
Well, I've never seen Charles Barkley so mad at Big C, but speaking of being mad, I'm mad that we're out of time. Man, I tell you, it goes by too fast, Big C, but every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, worldwide. You can follow Charlton Big C Sports. We're paying homage to Cinco de Mayo month, this great Latin holiday that we had this month of May. So I want to tell everybody we appreciate you for listening. We always do. So we appreciate you. We look forward to you listening every week, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.